Hey, what is going on, everyone? It's me, Mr. Mario, and you know, I like doing reviews. I really do. It's just, I don't do them all that often because, honestly, it's not that they're hard, they just take a lot of time. You know, you have to go through, you gotta play the game, you gotta understand it, you gotta do several things. And this is one of those games where I kinda had to get into it a bit. Now, just a bit of forewarning here, I'm going to try and be as unbiased as possible on this review, but like all reviews, there's going to be a bit of an opinion on here, and I will say straight up, I am not a fan of Attack on Titan. I don't know what it is, I've tried watching the show a few times, just haven't gotten into it, and I was hoping this foray into the game itself would improve my liking, or possibly, you know, non-liking for Attack on Titan, but well, let's go ahead and get into the review here. So without further ado, we're going to have a review of Attack on Titan, the video game, by a guy who doesn't really know anything or like Attack on Titan. How else could this go wrong? So you might be asking, Mario, if you don't even like Attack on Titan, why did you get this game? Well, I ended up getting it because one of my best friends who lives up in Canada was really excited about this game. He actually saw it on PS4, and he was going to save up for a PS4 to end up buying it. What happened was one night I pointed out it was on Xbox One, and lo and behold, he had an Xbox One, so he bought it right there on the spot. And because of that, he wanted me to buy it, and he wanted his brother to buy it as well too, so we all ended up purchasing it with the intent of co-oping, and that is the first thing on this game. It does not have actual multiplayer, but it does surprisingly have a co-op venture on there. Now, what is the game itself? Because this will translate into the rest of the gameplay. Pretty much you play as the Attack on Titan characters. It takes place through the first season of Attack on Titan, the actual anime, and what happens is you see a cutscene, you attack some Titans, you see a cutscene, you subjugate more Titans, and then a big final Titan comes out and you subjugate them, and then cutscene and levels over. And, I mean, that's about it. I'll be honest, it's cool for the first act because this is divided up into 3 acts, but after Act 1, where you know all the cool stuff ends up happening, and then there's something really awesome that happens at the end of it, I just kind of lost a bit of interest, and it was just really mundane, to be honest. You get to the point where, in the single player, it's cutscene, subjugate, cutscene, subjugate, cutscene, subjugate, cutscene, and then level select, and then that's about it afterwards. And it's really the same thing without that much variety. Sure, you can upgrade your weapons, you can get different horses, there's different types of characters you can use, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses, but there wasn't that much depth to it at the end. It was really the same thing over and over, but you all might be saying, well, there's the co-op component, so you could play it with friends, right? You're half right on that. Really, the co-op is just you and 3 other people can go in and you do these scouting missions, or you can do other types of missions that are just kind of challenges and you can subjugate as many Titans as you want to. Really, depending on what you want to do, it's the same thing. You subjugate Titans until the level is over, and that's about it. Now, it is more fun in a group, especially if you're talking with people, but one of my main complaints about this is that I wanted to co-op the actual single-player game. The single-player game is the story, while as the online component, which is the co-op, is just mission after mission after mission. So, if anything, the co-op version is even more mundane than the story. However, if you're with a good group of friends, it's actually more fun to play in some way because you're just talking with people, even though it has even less substance than the story mode itself. Now, when it comes down to the story, this is the story of Attack on Titan, whether it be the manga or the TV show, whatever you want to call it, it is just adapted to video game form. And I'll be honest, I mean, I'm not going to be sitting here criticizing the story because I feel like that's a whole other thing on there, but I actually, as I said, I thought it was cool up until the first act, and then afterwards, I just kind of lost interest on it to the point where near the end of the game, I was playing the game, and I was watching a TV show or listening to music on the side while doing this just to get through it. Another kind of annoyance that I have is that it is only Japanese audio. Now, it's Japanese audio with English subtitles, so I know some purists are going to prefer that. However, the issue comes into the part where you get into the game itself. When you're playing the game, this is a very action-packed and fast-paced game, and the problem is with so much stuff going on screen and so much action happening, all the characters are yelling at each other, and I'm pretty sure I missed out on a good amount of the story with all the characters talking to each other because they're yelling at each other. It's in Japanese, so they subtitle it in English, but I can't pay attention to subtitles when there's all this stuff going on screen. So I would have liked if there was a English voice acting option on here. I honestly don't know if it was just a funding issue or what happened with it, but I digress. I would have liked at least an option for that, because for the cutscenes it's okay, but when it comes to the actual gameplay, not so much in my opinion, unless I was a native Japanese speaker. As for the gameplay, I have talked about it being a bit mundane, and the controls that go alongside it, I mean, for the most part they work. It's fun flying around everywhere. But the issue is you get into like other camera issues and all that, where sometimes just lock-ons won't work properly, or you're trying to direct to a certain part on a Titan and it keeps snapping back to the other part. So the controls can be a bit of an issue sometimes, but overall it's still okay, aside from it just being really, as I said, the same thing over and over. And for the record, as I mentioned earlier, I'm playing it on the Xbox One, and when it comes to the performance, this game, from what I see, it runs up to 60 frames a second, but it's kind of up and down all over the place. This game is poorly optimized, extremely poorly optimized, and I don't know if the developers had ever heard of a thing called anti-aliasing, because I mean, the character models look pretty good, but everything else just looks kinda, I don't know, it just doesn't, I mean, look at it, it just doesn't really look that good, honestly. So overall, when it comes to the game itself, what do I think of it? Well, normally when I rate a game, I don't like to put a number on it. You see, I used to do a numbering system, but now I just say if I recommend it, or should you buy it, maybe wait on a price drop or whatever. So really, let's go ahead and look at the price. Now, this game I had bought it for, and it was originally retailing at, it was $60. This game was $60. Are you kidding me? Wait a minute. So they take this game, they take a popular anime license, some type of anime that was over in Japan, of course, because that's where everything is from, or most of the anime, you know, you understand. And then it got really popular worldwide, so they said, hey, let's make a game out of this. And then they decide to use the license to make this game right here that is so boring, so monotonous, absolutely adds nothing relevant to the story, nor does it engage people. Honestly, even if I was a fan of Attack on Titan, I wouldn't enjoy this game that much. And you're telling me they're going to take this boring, monotonous, poorly optimized game and charge you $60 for it? $60! Do you know how many other games that you could have gotten for $60? Maybe just one game, but you could have gotten another masterpiece of a game. There's been other games, such as Ratchet & Clank, that debuted at less than the proper retail cost. Ratchet & Clank, like I used for example, retailed at $40, and that game was excellent. I absolutely loved it. There's plenty of other great games out there that are $60 for even less than that. If you just have $60, do you know how many indie titles that you can buy on the Xbox Live Arcade or PlayStation Network or even Steam, wherever games are going to be sold? But instead, you're going to take this game, you're going to slap a $60 price tag onto it just because it has a popular type of anime license attached to it. Are you kidding me? Why is it that we find it acceptable to live in a day and age where we can take any type of game we want to, and just because we feel like it, we can slap a $60 price tag onto it, assuming people are going to buy it in droves, and they won't care about the optimization, they won't care about the fun factor, they won't care about any type of lack of features. Damn it. Yeah, to be honest, all jokes aside, you could probably tell that I really did not like this game too much. Unfortunately, this did not get me any more interested into the series, and I was thinking maybe it was just me, but I even verified it with one of my friends in real life who also picked up the game, and he himself, he's watched the anime, he's read through the manga because of this game, and he even played through the game, and he just doesn't like Attack on Titan that much, but he kind of got it for the same reason that I got it. He just got it to play with friends, and really with that, if you want to muck around game, to be honest, I would still recommend something else. I mean, this was a $60 game, and in my opinion, it does not warrant that price tag at all. I mean, maybe if you're bored and you kind of want to pick it up for giggles, I don't know, 10 to 20 bucks would be okay, but for $60, I mean, honestly, if I didn't have the time I spent on it, mostly spent playing with friends, then this would have been a complete waste of a purchase. But even right now, my friends have stopped playing it. I just finished a single player on the game, and I can't see myself playing it again. So honestly, whether you're wanting to get into Attack on Titan or whether you want to actually experience it because you're a big fan of the show, I can't recommend this game either way, unless you're just absolutely dying to play it, and I would say just wait for a major price drop on this game. This game is not very good. It is a mediocre game at best, and it fails on so many levels when it comes to fun factor, graphics, performance, controls. Just so many things make this game that could have been great not so great. Anyways, this is Mr. Mario signing off. Thank you all for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this review, please leave a like down below. If you absolutely hated this review because you love Attack on Titan and you're just blind with love for it, you can dislike the video. It's fine.